The blatant disregard shown by the Australian Open towards Carlos Alcaraz has sparked major controversy for 2 consecutive days. This isn't just a minor scheduling hiccup, it's an outright mess orchestrated by the tournament organizers. Since introducing an extended format a few years ago, stretching the tournament by an extra day and splitting the first round into 3 sessions, Tennis Australia aimed to rake in more ticket sales and make scheduling more flexible for the star players. Sounds great on paper, right? Except when you royally screw over one of the most exciting players in the world, Carlos Alcaraz. Let's get straight to the bullshit. Alcaraz, ranked number 3 globally and a clear favorite, hasn't even sniffed the Rod Laver Arena yet. That's right, 2 rounds in, and the Spanish phenom has been confined to the Margaret Court Arena. A lovely court, sure, but far from the iconic main stage. Meanwhile, big names like Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner, and Alexander Zverev are basking under the bright lights of the central court. How's that fair? Spoiler, it's not. Now, let's talk about why this sucks beyond the obvious. The Rod Laver Arena isn't just another court, it's an entirely different beast. Its size, vibe, and quirks require time to adjust to. So, when the later rounds roll around, Djokovic and the others will already feel right at home while Alcaraz is still trying to figure out how the ball bounces there. That's like sending a Formula One driver to the Monaco Grand Prix with 0 practice laps. Oh, and the scheduling? Don't even get me started. The organizers decided to slot Alcaraz's second-round match at the exact same time as Djokovic's. Again. Seriously, what the hell? It happened in the first round when Alcaraz had to share the limelight with local hero Nick Kyrgios, and now this. Sure, it might seem fair on paper, giving both players equal rest before a potential quarterfinal clash, but let's be real. When it comes to TV ratings and fan engagement, Alcaraz is getting absolutely shafted. Australian fans would rather watch Djokovic, a 10-time champion, any day of the week. The result? Fewer eyes on Alcaraz, less love from the crowd, and a tougher road to winning hearts down under. To his credit, Alcaraz hasn't publicly thrown a fit. Instead, he's taken the high road, saying he's adjusted well to the Margaret Court Arena. The speed felt pretty fast, he admitted. I don't know if Rod Laver will feel the same. That's Alcaraz for you. Cool, composed, and focused on the bigger picture. But come on, man. Even legends need a bit of love from the organizers. On the bright side, Alcaraz did praise the new courtside coaching rule, saying it's been a game changer. Having his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, closer has made communication smoother without feeling intrusive. Silver linings, I guess. Despite all the crap thrown his way, Alcaraz is off to a flying start. He crushed Alexander Shevchenko, ranked 77th in the world, in straight sets, kicking off his 2025 Australian Open campaign with authority. Sure, there were a few lapses in focus during the second set, but overall, it was a commanding performance. His goal? Nothing less than making history as the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam. Here's the kicker: if Alcaraz can power through these early rounds, ignore the politics, and claim the title, it'll be the ultimate mic drop moment. The message to the Australian Open organizers? You can try to sideline him, but he's here to dominate, central court or not. So, buckle up, this tournament is just getting started, and Carlos Alcaraz isn't going anywhere. Carlos Alcaraz didn't hold back in his post-match reflections, mixing self-criticism with cautious optimism and, let's face it, a touch of that trademark humility that makes him so damn likable. The world's number 3 tennis star, fresh off a solid opening round win, was quick to acknowledge that while his performance was good, there's still plenty of room to crank things up a notch. And honestly, isn't that what makes this kid such a beast? He's never satisfied. But let's talk about the real elephant on the court, his revamped serve. Oh boy, this new service motion is like trying to learn how to juggle while riding a unicycle. Alcaraz admitted that he's still figuring out how to make it flow, confessing that it feels more like a choreographed dance routine than an instinctive motion right now. I need more time, he said, probably thinking, Why the hell did I mess with my serve in the first place? But hey, he's convinced it's going to pay off eventually. Fingers crossed, right? Good start, Alcaraz mused during his press conference. I think I played at a high level. Honestly, the first match of the season is always a bit of a wild card. You never know what's going to happen. Sure, I had confidence, but there's always that little voice whispering, what if you screw up? Thankfully, it went well. Still, I'm not popping the champagne yet. Classic Carlitos, delivering excellence but already thinking about what's next. He wasn't shy about dissecting his own game either. Yeah, I lost focus for a bit there. Had one of those mental lapses. It's the kind of thing that can happen in your first match of the season. That's exactly what I want to clean up heading into the next round. Gotta love the honesty, right? No sugarcoating, just straight up, I screwed up, and I'm gonna fix it. Now, back to that funky new serve. Alcaraz admitted that it's been a bit of a pain in the ass. In practice, it's a breeze. But when you're out there on the court with the pressure on, it's a whole different beast. It's like my brain is in overdrive, thinking about the ball toss, the motion, the rhythm. Honestly, it's a lot. But I'm confident that with time, it'll become second nature. Or at least I hope so, because right now, it's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube mid-match. And why the hell did he mess with his serve anyway? Turns out, it wasn't just for shits and giggles. We decided to shake things up because we knew we needed to improve, he explained, crediting his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, and Samuel Lopez for the idea. Some players pause during their motion, others don't. It's all about finding what works for you. We're going with this approach for now, and if it doesn't work, well, back to the drawing board. But I trust my team, and I think it'll pay off. Spoken like a true team player. No drama, just determination. One thing that helps Alcaraz stay locked in during matches is his borderline obsessive need for order. If you've ever noticed how meticulously he arranges his water bottles during changeovers, you'd think he was Marie Kondo's long-lost son. It's all about maintaining focus, he said with a grin, probably imagining someone messing with his setup and throwing him into a mild existential crisis. At the end of the day, Alcaraz knows this is all part of the grind. He's not just here to compete, he's here to dominate. And if a few hiccups along the way are the price of greatness, then so be it. Because let's face it, this kid isn't just chasing wins, he's chasing history. And he's doing it with a smile, a killer forehand, and a serve that, for now, is still a work in progress. But knowing Alcaraz, it won't stay that way for long. During his matches, Carlos Alcaraz has a quirky little habit that's been turning heads on social media since his Australian Open debut on Monday. Is it a full-blown tic? Not quite. I flip the bottles around because they don't match my brand, he said, as if it's the most logical thing ever. But then he added, I try to keep them somewhat aligned. Not as obsessive as Rafa, who had to leave them perfect, but I like them neat. Yeah, Carlos, just slightly aligned, sure. Cue the eye rolls. If he wasn't already being compared to Rafael Nadal for his game, now people are dubbing him Mini Rafa 2.0 for his bench-side rituals. With this bottle thing, the comparisons just keep coming, Alcaraz joked. Might as well pack my bags now. Moving on to his next challenge, Alcaraz is gearing up to face Yoshihito Nishioka in the second round of the Australian Open. The Spanish phenom is in stellar form after obliterating Alexander Shevchenko in straight sets in under 2 hours. Alcaraz is laser-focused on keeping his momentum going as he chases his 4th Grand Slam title, which would shatter another record and put him in a league of his own. But don't expect Nishioka to roll over. The Japanese player is no pushover, and Alcaraz will need to bring his A-game to keep his championship dreams alive. Nishioka, on the other hand, had a much bumpier road to round 2. He struggled against Moroccan underdog Mohamed Aziz Dougas, barely scraping through in 4 sets after a tense battle. This isn't Nishioka's first tango with Alcaraz, though. The pair last faced off in 2022 at the Paris Masters, where the Spaniard wiped the floor with him in a straight sets victory. A lot has changed since then, fans say, but honestly, has it really? Nishioka's ranking and injury history suggest otherwise. Speaking of rankings, Nishioka is currently sitting at a modest number 65 in the ATP standings. Not exactly headline-grabbing, but let's give the guy some credit. His career has been plagued by a knee injury that's been the bane of his existence since 2017. It's kept him out of some major tournaments and derailed what could have been a much brighter career. Despite all that, he's managed to snag 3 ATP titles. So, yeah, not too shabby. But here's the kicker. Nishioka isn't just known for his tennis. He made waves at the Cincinnati Masters last year when he absolutely lost his shit during a match against Hubert Hurkacz. The dude threw what can only be described as a tantrum on the court, shocking fans who were used to seeing him as a calm, collected player. Twitter exploded with memes, and let's just say his reputation hasn't fully recovered. Still, that incident was a rare blip for a player who's typically all about keeping his cool. Now, let's talk strategy. Alcaraz is the clear favorite here, but tennis is a funny sport. One bad day, one slip in focus, and it could all go sideways. But let's be real, if Carlos keeps up his current form, Nishioka's chances are about as good as a snowball in hell. Alcaraz has his eyes set on the prize, and he's not just playing to win, he's playing to dominate. If you're new to the world of tennis or just want to see what all the fuss is about, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Tennis Extra. We've got everything you need: deep dive analysis, exclusive interviews, and top-notch coverage of all the drama, triumphs, and rivalries that make this sport so electrifying. Whether you're here for the strategy, the scandal, or just to see who's smashing rackets this week, we've got you covered. And trust us, you don't want to miss a single moment of Carlos Alcaraz's journey through this year's Australian Open. It's shaping up to be a wild ride.